What's up, you guys? Welcome back again to your Heroclix headquarters. Today we're continuing our full set review of Avengers 60th Anniversary with the super rares. So as always, without further ado, let's get right into it. Here we have the super rare, obviously, Monica Rambo, and this one's really cool. The sculpt on this one's nice, very cool flying pose and everything. It's always nice to get a new Monica Rambo. We got a really cool rare one not too long ago in the Empire set. And this super rare one is also very good. So she's coming in at only 70 points. She's got a trait that gives her stealth, and then a special attack power here gives her energy explosion, penetrating blast, and precision strike, which is a very crazy combo of powers. And then on her damage power, she gets a stop click with colossal size and shape change. She also has Avengers and PD team abilities, which are both very good. So yeah, she starts off with that flight, running shots, 5 range double target that can see through hindering with energy explosion, penetrating blast, and precision strike. So that's going to get through all the damage reducers. It's going to help you get through super senses and energy explosion, so you can do a lot of damage, spread out. Yeah, running shot, invuln, and leadership. So she's also bringing some leadership to the team. And you got 2 stop clicks on her damage power there at the last 2 clicks of her dial. So a lot of survivability there. She can take the first hit with invuln, potentially dodge a hit with super senses, and then she can, take at least, even if she takes like a big penetrating blast first off, she's going to take at least 3 hits to fully KO. So I think she's definitely worth the 70-point investment. You can potentially get +1 attack from Avengers. You can potentially be minusing defenses from Police TA. But yeah, she's also traded stealth. I almost forgot about that. So she can just be hiding in stealth to start out with. And yeah, I really like the attack power combo. She can see through hindering herself, so she can get through other stealthy characters. And yeah, the double stop click is great. So she's really, really awesome. I really can't wait to try her out in practice, but as far as what I can tell on paper, she looks like she's going to be very good. Up next, we have SpiderMan here, and of course, if you guys didn't already know, this is probably the best super rare in the set. Hands down, one of my favorites, if not my actual favorite. So this guy is just so good. The sculpt is amazing. The pose is really cool. The suit looks cool. And his dial is great. If you guys didn't already watch my top 5 Peter Parker Spider-Mans, surprise, surprise, this guy definitely made the list. He was pretty high up there. But anyway, he's got, of course, Spider-Man team ability and wild card. So he also has a trait that says once per turn, when Spider-Man is attacked, you may re-roll the attack roll. So it gives you a once per turn prob that isn't prob, which is nice because it doesn't, affect other things that have to do with prob and using it. But then he has a trait that says friendly characters that are adjacent or have the Avengers keyword have the team player team ability, so they're all wild cards. So that right there automatically makes this guy amazing. Haha, pun intended, amazing Spider-Man. But yeah, giving everybody wild card and just having Spider-Man TA for the super senses on a 6 or +1 if you already have it is just amazing, because if you play him on the right team, you're giving basically your whole team +1 to their super sense rolls, assuming they all have senses. Of course, comboing him with the old War of the Realms common Miles Morales that just gives all Avengers super senses is a great combo, especially because he's coming in at either 90, 45, or 25 points. All of the point values are pretty much equally playable in my opinion. I think 25 is the most meta option, just for the outwit, super strength, super senses on a 4 through 6, and just giving out everybody that wildcard team ability for only 25 points is insane. For 45 points, I still like him a lot too. You got 10 movement charge, 10 attack with super strength, 17 with combat reflexes, 3 damage with close combat expert, so he's hitting at least 11 for 4. He can hit up to 6 if he grabs an hunk of terrain on the way, and he could copy Avengers team ability or something to potentially bump his attack up to 12. So for 45 points, he's a really good heavy hitter for close attacks. and he's still giving your whole team, you know, the wild card, and he still gets the once per turn reroll of attack rolls against him. And then 90 points, you get the awesome, oh, I didn't even look at his movement power. You get the awesome Charge Flurry Plasticity combo. And when Spider-Man hits after resolutions, you can give a hit character an action token, or a hit character modifies their attack -2 until your next turn, or a hit character gains immobile until your next turn. So boom, you know, and just Charge Flurry Plasticity would have been nice enough, but very good options whenever you hit to kind of immobilize them in some way, shape, or form. So yeah, that 10 movement charge, Perplex says attack up to 12, you know, just Charge Flurry somebody. And you got the super duper senses. So I really like all of his point values. He's able to do a ton of damage at either the 90 or the 45. And for just 25 to throw him on an Avengers team is so much value. So I really don't know what else to say about him other than he is amazing. All right, up next we have Hammer, the last of the Hydra 4. We've already seen Bowman, Militant, and Tactical Force. So Hammer here is the Thor version, Hydra's version of Thor. So, of course, he's got Hydra team ability there. And the Hydra 4 trait that we've seen before, where when somebody with the team ability is KO'd, he gets +1 damage until your next turn. And then you have the Might of Hydra. Friendly characters with the Hydra team ability can use it for close or range attacks. And that is really nice because obviously there's a good few close attackers in this set with the Hydra team ability, namely this guy, Hammer. Also Militant had Charge and Super Strength, I believe. And then, you know, you've got in the chases, there's a Black Skull who's got like Charge, Flurry, Blades, Exploit. So, you know, having a bunch of random Hydra dudes being able to use that for close attacks as well is great. You know, it's basically just like the Masters of Evil team ability in that way. So, you know, if they're adjacent and you have the adjacent character making a close attack, it like -1 the defense of their target. So it really makes all your attacks hit easier. That's really cool to have. You got Charge with a 10 movement. Flight, that's actually really good in today's terms because I feel like there's a lot of like 6 and 7 movement charges now. 11 attack, 18 impervious, and 4 damage at 80 points. And then that special attack power there gives him Quake, and when Hammer knocks back one or more opposing characters, after resolutions you may choose a character he knocked back. If you do, deal 1 damage to each opposing character adjacent to the chosen character. So it's really cool. You can like knock somebody back into another group of enemies and then like spread the shock wave or something and deal everybody next to him 1 penetrating damage. You know, him being the character he knocked back, whatever. But yeah, it's a really cool way to like quake a big group of enemies and then chain it out to a few more enemies. And yeah, then later on he gets some Flurry and some Pulse Wave with Close Combat Expert. Some very interesting power combos there. Don't really see that a lot. But yeah, if he's up close, Flurry him for a lot of damage, or if he's a few squares away, just Pulse Wave everybody. So yeah, not bad for 80 points. I feel like it's just kind of the same issues I have with like Tactical Force and even Militant, where it's like they're really, really good on a Hydra team for everything they bring to that team and all the ways that it enhances them as well. However, outside of that, I don't really see any reason to play them. He's not really doing anything else cool that isn't heavily reliant on a bunch of Hydra characters. So for that reason, he's only really got some niche uses rather than being actually really good. But up next we have the true God of Thunder himself, Thor. The Prime Thor. The Prime version of Hammer is just the actual Thor. So same thing we saw with, you know, the Iron Man and the Captain America in the rares. And we'll just take a quick look at what he can do here. I actually really like this Thor quite a bit. He's got the Cosmic Energies and Mystics team abilities, which is pretty interesting. You know, when you think about it, Thor probably should have those type of team abilities more often. However, one thing I am kind of sad to see is that he doesn't have the Avengers team ability. That would be the nice like trifecta there of all the things I'd like to see on a Thor. Or, you know, Avengers Initiative would be nice too for some improved targeting. But I digress. Taking a look at his trait here, he's got Pulse Wave. When Thor uses it and the attack roll is doubles, hit opposing characters are dealt 3 damage instead. So that's really cool. Just having Pulse Wave all the time as an option is very good. And, you know, it's pretty crazy. If you manage to crit hit that Pulse Wave with, you know, double sixes, obviously, that's going to be a 4 damage Pulse Wave. That would be nuts. The odds of that are, of course, pretty low, but it'd be great to pull off nonetheless. And even just rolling any doubles, like 2 4s or something, you know, it's probably going to hit everybody and deal knockback as well. So you're hitting everybody for 3 and then potentially getting an extra knockback damage on top of that, which is nice. But his actual dial here, he's got Running Shot, Penetrating Blast with a 12 attack, 4 damage. Or 11 attack, 3 damage if you're playing him at the 75 line. I like both of his lines, 150 or 75, and we'll take a look at what the rest of his specials do here. He actually does have another trait that at the beginning of the game you can choose a keyword or team ability. Opposing characters with the chosen keyword or team ability modify damage -1 when attacking Thor or an adjacent friendly character. So that's really actually amazing, in my opinion, because he does have Energy Shield Deflection and Impervious, and that can't be outwitted. So as long as they're not dealing penetrating damage, he has the potential to just kind of shrug off most hits from certain keyword or, you know, team ability characters, whoever he picked at the beginning of the game. Because most characters deal like 3 on average, so if he's already reducing 2 from Impervious automatically, he's kind of like, you know, if your opponent's playing a themed team and he can pick the 1 keyword for everybody, it's going to be nuts because they're going to have to be dealing at least 4 damage or some penetrating damage to be hurting him at all. But yeah, Energy Shield and Impervious is a great combo, especially when you can't outwit it with the Power Cosmic. And then you got Range Combat Expert and Shape Change on his damage, so you got a little, you know, offense and defense there. Again, very nice to see that. So with the Range Combat Expert top dial, he's actually rocking a 13 attack for 5 penetrating damage, which is, you know, definitely worth it for 150. Or even the 12 for 4 at 75 is really good too. And yeah, having the double rollouts with the Impervious and the Shape Change is great. You got ESD for the range attacks, and he's potentially reducing 3 damage when he's hit. You can't outwit him, and when you do hurt him, boom, you got Mystics to take back for it. So I really like this guy a lot. He also has a bunch of Steel Energy here. Hypersonic and Steel Energy, you know, that's great. You can get in there, punch somebody, heal up a couple clicks, back to your good stuff. And then you still got the Shape Change, so you got a rollout and some invuln. I don't know, I really like his dial a lot. I really like all of his traits and everything. I feel like people have been kind of sleeping on him a little bit. I haven't seen anybody be like, oh wow, the Prime Thor is so good. You know, obviously the Prime Captain America is great, and the Prime Hulk, I feel like, is stealing all of the attention of all the Primes, but I think the Thor is really good and underestimated a little bit. I would personally play him on a team that is full of a bunch of damage reducers, you know, invuln, impervious, invincible, whatever, because then as long as you can kind of keep them somewhat adjacent to Thor, especially if they have something like, I don't know, shield team ability, a police team ability, some other way, just some leadership or something that's going to already benefit, you know, being adjacent to him in some way, so that he can kind of give them that extra protection so that they can reduce up to 3 damage potentially would be pretty nuts. And it's not even reducing 3 damage, it's that their damage value is -1, so they're going to have to get their damage value up to 4 or more to like be able to hurt him. I think that could be a really good team in there somewhere, and I'm still kind of playing around with that. But I'll hopefully let you guys know if I think of a cool team. But like I said, I think he's very underestimated because I think he's really good. But moving right along, now we have Miss Marvel here in possibly one of her greatest Heroclix versions yet. I don't know, I really did like the last one we got in Avengers Forever, the rare one. That one is amazing, and we've had some other pretty good ones in the past, but this one is pretty crazy. So starting off, she's got Close Combat Expert and Shape Change, just traded, so she's got that all the time. She is coming in at 110 or 50 points. I feel like 50 points is where you want to play her at. So that's going to be right here on this red line. That's where I intend to play her at most of the time anyway. But she's got this trait here that when establishing theme teams, choose a keyword for Miss Marvel to gain this game. If Miss Marvel is on a theme team for a keyword printed on her card, she can use probability control. And if she's on a theme team for a keyword not printed on her card, she can use perplex. So that's a very interesting ability. This is coming, of course, right after the rules changes that kind of heavily nerfed theme teams. So it's really cool to see traits like this that give you like a pretty big bonus just for being on a theme team. I feel like we've seen a couple characters now that have already had traits like this, like the Hawkeye that we'll take a look at later. That's the play at home kit, or not the play at home kit, but the release day OP kit figure. He has a big bonus for being on an Avengers theme team. So stuff like that. Anyway, that's cool to see. But then she also has this special movement power that says free, choose one to last until you choose again. And the first one is tiny size. When an adjacent character begins a move after resolutions, you may place Miss Marvel adjacent to them. Next one here is normal size and flurry, or you can get colossal size and charge. So that's nice. For one thing, it's really cool that this is until you choose again. So if you were to choose colossal, she's going to remain colossal for the use of her prob or perplex or whatever. She's going to be able to keep that giant size willpower on a 3 through 6 every turn, and just having charge with a 3 square giant reach is great. And then you can shrink down to normal size and get flurry if you're already up next to somebody and you just want to try and get that flurry to get some more damage in. But the main thing here actually is that tiny size. So the cool thing is turn 1, you choose the tiny size option. And then, turn 2, you move out your team, right? And then she can just be placed. When an adjacent friendly character begins a move after resolutions, you can place her adjacent to them. So that's not carrying. She's not being carried. You just have somebody full move out there. She places herself. Then she can free choose one until she chooses again. Either pick flurry if you can manage to drop her next to somebody, or just pick the colossal size charge to go charge across the map and punch somebody. So either way, you got some great stuff there. Don't forget the close combat expert really comes in handy with either option there. So yeah, for 50 points, it's probably where you're going to see her played at most. She got that Quake, Empower, Invulnerability, and you got the Shape Change traded as well. And the Avengers team ability comes in handy as well. Another potential +1 attack. 110 line is pretty nice to get a few extra clicks of life, some invincible. Maybe if she had a 4 damage or something starting off, 12 attack. I just don't quite see the use of the 110. Yeah, it's better for sure, but is it more than twice the points better? I'd rather play 2 of her for 50 points than 1 of her for 110 points. So in that case, kind of gives you a better reason, why would I play 1 for 110 when I could play 2 for 50 and still have something left over? I could place 2 of her adjacent to people and she could flurry on them or charge or whatever. So yeah, she's really good. She has some really cool combos, and I can't wait to try her out because she looks like a lot of fun. All right, up next is the only regular super rare I don't have yet, so I'll put him on screen for you, and that is Absorbing Man. So we'll take a look here. He's got Masters of Evil team ability. He's coming in at 90 points. He does have improved movement to destroy blocking terrain, which is great. And then he's got a trait to start off with that gives him improved targeting characters, Giant Reach 4. Absorbing Man considers all characters within 4 squares in line of fire as adjacent to him for the purposes of the Masters of Evil team ability. So that's really awesome. You can just walk a couple of Masters of Evil around the map, and as long as they're within 4 squares in line of fire of him, he's going to get that, -1 defense on his target for his close attacks, which is really going to come in handy. And then you have when Absorbing Man hits, after resolutions, he may choose an equipment equipped to a hit opposing character. Until he chooses again, Absorbing Man can use the effect of that equipment. So that's really strong. He's not stealing the equipment itself, but he is able to use the effect, which is really cool. Depending on what your opponent has anyway, that could be really awesome, or it, might just be whatever. But then the last thing he has here is a special defense power, which gives him Stop Invincible. And you'll notice he has 3 of those stop clicks. So he is quite the beast. He's going to take quite a few hits to take down. Starting off with a 19 impervious, and then going straight into a stop click on click 2 is really annoying to deal with. And then, you got another 18 impervious, and then another stop click. A couple clicks of toughness, and then another stop click. So he's going to take at least 1, 2, 3, 4 hits to take out. And that's assuming you manage to hit a 19 and 18 to start off with. And probably with penetrating damage, otherwise he can potentially just roll out of it. But yeah, he's a great, and he's got that charge, close combat expert, so he's hitting 12 for 4, and most likely, giant reach too on that is really good, and most likely getting a few -1s to the defense of his targets with that Masters of Evil trait that he's got. So yeah, really cool. He's going to be really, really good on a Masters of Evil team. He's also got a few other keywords there. Brute's really good right now if you got the Chase Dark Phoenix. Mystical is always good, so he's got some options there. I don't really know if there's many of those type of characters that have Masters of Evil. I feel like you're going to get the most use of him on at least a team with some other Masters of Evil to get use of that trait. But otherwise, he's going to be really fun. Absorbing Man, definitely the best Absorbing Man I think we've had yet. I don't know, the old Chase was really good too from Captain America and the Avengers, but this guy's great. Although I guess I shouldn't speak too soon because we do have another Prime Absorbing Man to take a look at. And up next is the Prime Absorbing Man, like I was just talking about. This guy is pretty nuts. If you just try to look at his dial, it is crazy all over the place. 18, 17, 18, 19, 20, 16. Like his defenses go up and down and up and down. 3, 3, 4, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. His damage is all over the place. His attack is all over the place. 11, 10, 11, 10, 9, 11, 12, 13. Like, I have no clue what is going on with this guy's dial. It is everywhere. It's pretty crazy, though. It's cool. He's got improved movement, blocking, destroy blocking, so that's always nice. And then the main reason you're going to want to play this guy is his sideline active trait, because, I mean, even his powers, I would say, aren't really that great of a combo. It's kind of just such a mishmash. He's got Quake, Toughness, Shape Change on his top click, which is fine, but it'd be nice if he had Charge or Sidestep or something to use with that. He doesn't have, like, any move and attack powers or anything, so pretty interesting. I don't know, crazy dial. Anyway, so yeah, the main reason you're going to want to play him is that sideline active trait, because if he is on your sideline at the beginning of the game, and starting with you and your opponent each generate 2 fragment markers into any squares on the map within 3 squares of a starting area or another fragment marker. At the beginning of your turn, you may place each fragment marker up to 2 squares away from its current square, and all characters have free place a fragment marker in this character's square up to 2 squares away. If all 4 fragment markers are in the same square, remove them from the game and generate Absorbing Man from your sideline on click number 1 into the last square they occupied. So it's a really fun and interesting game of keep away with this guy. Your opponent can run up there and take a free action to move them back, out of the way. And you can have all your characters run up there and kind of have them tossing them into the middle slower, or a little quicker and a little quicker. And hopefully you can get them all in one spot and just pop out a free 125-point character, which is pretty nuts if you can manage to accomplish it. Then his other trait here says, at the beginning of your turn, when Absorbing Man is attacked, choose a standard power. Absorbing Man can use the chosen power this turn, Protected Pulse Wave. So that's really cool. You get to choose at the beginning of your turn and when he's attacked, and he can use that power this turn. So, and it's whenever he's attacked. It doesn't say like once per turn when he's attacked, just when he's attacked. You can choose a standard power. So you can start, just layering defense powers with every attack, I guess. He does start with the toughness shape change, so first attack comes through, you could pick like energy shield deflection, close combat reflexes, impervious, super senses, something like that, invincible even, and just keep adding on to it and adding on to it every attack. At least for the turn, he'll have that. So that's really cool. It makes him even harder and harder to deal damage to every turn. The more you attack him, the harder he is to actually injure, which is really cool. And then he, being able to choose at the beginning of your turn, I guess there you go, you can get charge. So I spoke too soon a little bit there. You can pick charge every time you want, or running shot, or sidestep, or hypersonic. You can just choose a standard power. That's cool. It's not even like that's something somebody already has to have. You just choose any standard power. So yeah, pretty awesome. This guy would be pretty fun. Oh, he's got cosmic energy team ability too. I forgot to mention that. So that's really cool. They can't even outwit all the powers that he's choosing, and Masters of Evil. So I could see this guy being a lot of fun to actually play with on the map. But of course, it's even more fun if you can manage to bring all the pieces together and pop him out from your sideline. So yeah, this guy's great, obviously. If you can manage to get him, throw him on your sideline, have some fun with him, he's going to be great. All right, but moving right along here, up next we've got Starbrand. I really like her a lot. So here's a quick look at her sculpt here. Nothing too crazy, but she does have a really cool energy effect there. So very cool. And then you've got the Cosmic Energy and Guardians of the Galaxy team abilities there. So, of course, she can't be outwitted, and your opponent can't modify her combat values either. So I think that's a really cool combo of team abilities. But then she starts off with a trait that says, when Starbrand attacks one or more opposing characters with the Cosmic keyword or that have the Cosmic Energy team ability, modify her combat values by +1. When Starbrand is attacked by a character with the Cosmic keyword or team ability, modify her combat values +1. So, not bad at all. Regardless, you only got a 6 movement running shot with 6 range, 11 attack, 18 invulnerable, 3 damage with range combat experts. Then she goes into some hypersonic close combat expert there. But she's got this other really awesome trait here that says power. Choose another friendly character and a standard power Starbrand can use. Until your next turn, the chosen character can use the chosen power and modifies their combat values by +1. So I really like that a lot. Just giving out, top dial, you can give out either running shot, invulnerability, or range combat expert. All 3 of those are great choices, especially for somebody like Sicarian Iron Man. Giving him running shot so he doesn't have to choose it himself, or especially giving him invulnerability so he can absorb some damage without having to, get rid of some of his little token things, his objects on his card. So that would be really cool on an Avengers team, or, there's a lot of other characters that can make great use of that. And the +1 all stats would be great on him too. Then you'd be +3 all stats would be nuts. Anyway, I just want to try that combo out. I think it'd be fun. But you got range, make a range attack, and all other characters within 2 squares of an original target also become targets. So kind of like a big energy explosion. But now that I'm reading this again, because I haven't thought about this in a while since I first read her a while back, but make a range attack, and all other characters within 2 squares of an original target also become targets. So that's interesting, because I'm pretty sure technically, she does start with that range attack, so she would potentially have 12 attack, 4 damage with the range combat expert. So the way it's worded, I'm pretty sure it should work the same way as like the old trash can SpiderMan, because he can target all adjacent opposing characters when he makes a close attack, and because you're not actually using targeting bolts, you don't have to split your damage. You can hit them all for his full damage value, and she only has 1 target. So I'm pretty sure, since it's not specifically saying like all hit characters take 1 or 2 or something like that, like energy explosion kind of thing, pretty sure she could make a range attack on somebody. Everybody within 2 squares of that original target also become targets, and then boom, they all take her damage value of 4 most likely. So that is pretty nuts. She has pretty massive damage value herself that way. But also, she's really great for empowering other friendly characters. +1 all stats, and picking a power off of her dial is great. Though I will say, even with all of that, I feel like she's a few too many points still. That is my only downside to her. She does only have 5 clicks of health. 1 big penetrating blast for 5 damage will just straight up knock her out. And for 75 points is kind of a lot nowadays for something like that, to be, afraid of getting one shot like that. It is nice that you can't outwit her at all because she's cosmic, but that is a very dangerous thing, that she could easily be one shot, especially if somebody had like super strength and exploit weakness or something. Pretty easy now to pick up an object and get +2 damage and hit for like 5 penetrating if you have Exploit on top of it. But yeah, I don't know. None of those characters come to mind that would have that combo, but still, that's something to be afraid of, kind of. So that's kind of why I feel like she'd be better off sitting far back, just kind of empowering another character. But she could running shot in there and get a huge damage, energy explosion that's not energy explosion kind of attack off. So that's something to think about too. She's kind of a glass cannon, I'll put it that way. She's very glass cannon-y. She can do a lot of damage, or she can hint somebody else to do a lot of damage, but she herself cannot take a lot of damage. But I still think she could be pretty good. All right, up next we've got Moonstone. Pretty cool sculpt on her, flying around there. Very nice. I like that suit a lot, the red and gold. Obviously, I'm an Iron Man fan. I like red and gold stuff, but anyways, then taking a look at her dial here, she's a wild card. She's got a trait here that if she is 25 points, she's KO'd when her dial clicks past the red KO line, protected pulse wave. So you can play her for 25 and just get these first 2 clicks, or you can play her for 80 and, get all the rest of this as well. And so on her movement power there, she gets phase teleport and stealth. Passenger 3, but only to carry characters that share a keyword with her, regardless of size, is very interesting. I mean, she's got, let's see, Dark Avengers, Masters of Evil, Thunderbolts, Celebrity, Scientist. The only person that stands out to me immediately is Atlas, I think. He's like a giant. I don't know. I mean, maybe there's a celebrity or scientist that is colossal or giant or something, but being able to carry regardless of size anyway is a really cool effect. And phase teleport with Passenger 3 is really nice. And, for only 25 points, she's a great taxi. And she's also got 11 attack with Pulse Wave and an 18 defense with Super Senses and Shape Change and Stealth on her movement power too. So, really annoying to try to actually just deal with for 25 points because the double rollouts and Stealth and everything. But yeah, she's doing a lot for your team there with the carry and stuff. And if you do play her for 80 points, she's got Stop, Super Senses, and Invulnerability. So she got 2 of those stop clicks on the 80-point line. I don't know. This is one of those dials, though, that I would hate to play at 80 points because all of that good stuff is hidden behind a couple clicks that are, A, already really annoying to get through, and B, not really all that threatening, so why should I shoot it anyway? So, yeah, I feel like it'd be very rare for her to even hit that stop click. But, I mean, I guess that's 80 points of your team that, isn't in that much danger, I guess. And, I mean, eventually your opponent is going to have to attack her, and then she can get to her good stuff, and she's got 2 stop clicks to keep her safe. So, I don't know, I do like her a lot, mainly just for a 25-point taxi. For, like, celebrity and scientist type of teams would be really good. Masters of Evil, though, Thunderbolts, Dark Avengers, those are all really fun teams, too. And, being a wild card, she could copy one of those team abilities. There's a lot of really good team abilities on all those teams. Oh, I forgot she has improved targeting characters, which is really nice for her Outwit later, and especially her Running Shot Penetrating Blast. So that's just kind of worth noting, I think. But yeah, I mean, regardless, like I said, I think she's probably best for 25 as just a taxi. But otherwise, the 80-point line is pretty fun and fairly playable also. Up next, we've got Morgan LaFay, and she's pretty cool. She does some interesting things. I did pull her in my unboxing, so I feel like I kind of already gave her a little bit of a review in that video. But in case you missed it, we've got the trait here that gives her leadership, mastermind, and when she uses leadership and succeeds, you may instead generate a zombie bystander, which is right here. They just have sidestep, 9 attack, 16 defense with toughness. They're mystics. 2 damage, so nothing too crazy though, but the Mystics is really nice. Anyway, she's got that Mastermind though, so she can potentially generate some zombies and then just Mastermind onto them, and that way your opponent is taking Mystics damage and not getting any points off of you because they're 0-point bystanders. So that's pretty cool. Then she has Mind Control as free, but only to target an adjacent character. which is really interesting. You could just kind of run her up in there, carry her up in there, whatever, and just free mind control somebody, which is really nice. With a 12 attack precision strike on top of it, because she does only have that movement power for her on her 100 point dial. But then you've got energy shield deflection and super senses on her defense, and close combat expert and power and probability control on her damage. So the empower comes in handy for all those zombies. Prob control can help too, but I probably wouldn't waste it on a 9 attack. I'd probably waste it in case I accidentally somehow missed with my 12 attack on her or something with her mind control. But yeah, really cool. I like her, mainly, I think I like her most actually at the 100 point line. But for 40 points, she can just be spamming out a ton of zombies, sidestepping around and just masterminding onto the zombies. And just, if you manage to pump out enough zombies, she could definitely more than make up her 40 points. But I actually like the 100 point line more, in my opinion, for her, just because she has all the really good, free mind control, the better defense power, better damage power, all that kind of stuff. So there's not really much else to say about her, but she's a really fun way to swarm the field with zombies. All right, up next, we've got the Super Adaptoid. And there you go. As you can see here, basically just a fusion of all the Avengers. You got Cap's shield and armor. You've got, I think, like Hawkeye's mask, Thor's hammer. I think maybe Iron Man's arc reactor, or unless that's just a... No, I think that is Iron Man's arc reactor. Yeah, regardless. I think that's like Wasp's wings or something. So really just an amalgamation of all the Avengers into a Super Adaptoid. Of course, armor robots, only keywords. It's got wildcard team ability. Trait here gives it shape change, and Super Adaptoid can use the effect of all equipment equipped to opposing characters within range and line of fire. It is giant size, so it's going to see over everything. So within 5 squares of it, it's within its range, it's going to be able to use all the effects of all equipment your opponent has, which is pretty insane, depending on what your opponent's playing. If they're not playing any equipment, that doesn't do anything for you, but if every single character is equipped, this thing could have like a million different effects going on at once. Especially since it also has the special attack power here that gives it energy explosion, force blast, and quake. And if Super Adaptoid is 150 points, when it uses Energy Explosion or Quake, you may choose a targeted character. Opposing characters within 2 squares in line of fire of the character chosen become targets as well. So, yeah, it gives you a bigger, wider reach for your Energy Explosion and your Quake, if you're playing it at 150 points anyway. Otherwise, just for 100 points, it's still a pretty good combo of powers there. A lot of different options you have. And then moving along here to its defense power, it has free choose one to use until your next turn. If Super Adaptoid is 150 points, choose 2 instead. Energy Shield Deflection, Impervious, or Super Senses. So for 100 points, you get to pick 1. For 150, you get to pick 2. So it'd be pretty annoying to deal with. I'd probably go for Impervious, Super Senses most of the time for the double rollouts, and of course for the potential damage reduction there. Because that is, whatever you pick there is all that it's going to have on its defense. That's... you probably want to pick the Impervious most of the time. But then you got arrows and iron fists free. Choose one to use until your next turn. If Super Adaptoid is 150 points, choose 2 instead. Again, just like the defense power. But this one's on damage. It says modify attack and damage +1. That's great. Or Super Adaptoid deals penetrating damage. That's also nice. And then when Super Adaptoid attacks, opposing characters can't use shape change or super senses. Oh, that might be the best one. That combo is the most annoying of all time. But yeah, all of those 3 are great options. Again, even if you're playing at 100 or 150, being able to choose 2 of those for 150 would be pretty nuts. But yeah, just opening sidestep would be nicer if it had like some running shot, to go with the energy explosion and everything else. +1 attack and damage, penetrating blast. I guess I shouldn't say penetrating blast. Penetrating damage in general would go great with the energy explosion. But anyway, yeah, so I like it a lot for 150 because being the kind of combos you could choose on the attack and the defense is insane. But for 100 points, it's not that bad either. I kind of just feel like this is more of a fun character. It's very you know, like I said, playable in a fun way. For a lot of like local games and stuff, it could do pretty well. It doesn't really seem, you know, you really got to play it at 150 to get the most out of it. And that's not really, you know, doable in like a really super highly competitive build. But for, I mean, just armor robot teams, or just throwing them on there for, you know, fighting some Avengers for fun is going to be great. So I do like the Super Adaptoid quite a bit. Probably the best one we've ever had, which isn't saying much because it's been like forever since we've had one. But yeah, it is really cool. And up next we, of course, have the Prime version of the Super Adaptoid. And I do kind of want to go out of my way to get this one, even though it's not like super crazy, awesome, amazing. This is the, its name is Super Adaptoid, but its first trait here is the Spider Adaptoid. Because I guess real name Cindy Moon, so that's Silk. I don't remember this happening whenever she got Super Adaptoid powers or turned into it. I don't know what's going on here. Make sure to let me know in the comments what I need to check out to see when this happened, I guess. Must have missed it somewhere. But anyway, she's got that trait that gives her invincible, super senses, super strength, safeguard, outwit. That's amazing. That's just a big trait right off the bat, especially because you also got SpiderMan team ability, so that's +1 to those super sense rolls. Then on the attack power, you got Web of Hammers. When Super Adaptoid hits, if the attack roll was doubles after resolutions, you may have a hit character unequip any equipment equipped, or any equipped equipment, whatever, then make a close terrain attack as free, targeting that character, regardless of adjacency. When she does, she may treat any one terrain marker, including objects, within range and line of fire as held. So that's very interesting and very powerful effect, but also very situational. If it just said when it hits, that would be great, but the attack roll has to be doubles. That's the only downside there. So it's going to be a lot harder to pull that off. But yeah, after resolutions, get a close terrain attack as free, using the equipment that they drop to smack them with and score a few points, or pick up some other big terrain nearby. Either way is good. But then on its damage power here, she's got Range Combat Expert, and when Super Adaptoid is given a Range Destroy action, after resolutions you may place her in a square that was last occupied by the destroyed terrain. If you do, make a range attack. So again, very cool way to just make a range destroy action, blow up something, and then you get to actually place her in that square and make a range attack. So pretty nice. You could running shot up, destroy a wall, place yourself, you know, where that wall or chunk of blocking terrain or whatever was, and then take a shot. So that's very nice. Gives her a lot of mobility that you may not see coming. And yeah, just with the dial here, you got 8 movement, running shot, and flight, 18 with willpower, which with the invincible, super senses, super strength, the attack power there, and the special damage power, 11 attack for 4 damage. Lots of stuff going on here. 140 points is a lot though. So that is kind of hard to justify, especially because you got to roll doubles to really make that one effect land. For 80 points, she's starting off with Sidestep, 10 attack, Penetrating Blast, 17 with willpower, and 3 damage with that Range Combat Expert special damage power. Still got the trait with the invincible, super senses, super strength. I don't know, again, I just kind of feel like if you're going to play this one, you probably want to just play it at full points to get everything, get all the extra bonuses that it can do, because the 80 point line, not really much going on there. Sidestep, 10 attack, Penetrating Blast. Pretty meh for 80 points, especially for a Prime, but it's still a pretty decent figure overall. Alright, last but not least, we have Clea, the Sorcerer Supreme here, and she is rather amazing herself. She already had to get a little bit of an errata because people found a way to just make her absolutely broken. But she's got the Defender's team ability and Mystic's team ability. But then she's got this amazing trait here that says opposing characters that are not within Clea Sorcerer Supreme's range can't target friendly characters that are within Clea Sorcerer Supreme's range. So she's got a 5 range. So the people found out that you can equip her with the Wonder Woman lasso, which gives you range 4 and in cap as free or something. I don't think you even get a choice. I think it just literally makes your range value 4. So then if you perplex her range down 3 times, it means only characters adjacent to her can be targeted. And if you fill up all the spots around her, then nobody can be targeted at all. So they had to red her a little bit. So it says they can't target, like they can punch. I forget the exact wording, but it says they can't be targeted by non-adjacent characters or something like that. So if you do run up there and get adjacent, you can still attack them at least. But it is a very strong effect to just kind of bring in that Sanctum Sanctorum to, every square just around her. And then you can't get shot from halfway across the map or something. It's very powerful. Coming in at 150 or 80 points, she's definitely better at the 80 point line. You don't get a whole lot extra for the 150. That's 70 extra points we're talking about, just for like 3 extra clicks of health and some invincible. Not really worth it. I mean, she literally does exactly the same thing attack damage wise. So yeah, 5 range triple target. Then she got the special attack power there that says penetrating blast. When Clea, Sorcerer Supreme, makes a range attack after resolutions, give each opposing character damaged by the attack a flame token if they don't already have one. And at the beginning of your turn, for each character with a flame token, or deal each character with a flame token 1 penetrating damage. And then when a character clears action tokens, remove any flame token from it. So yeah, long wordy thing there, but she can penetrating blast people, give them a token. On the beginning of your next turn, they take a penetrating damage unless they take the time to just clear. So that's pretty nice. She's also got, like I said, those team abilities there, which are pretty good. And yeah, she's pretty great. She had the potential there for a minute to run the meta, but they kind of toned her down to a more fair level. She is still really good. I still got my butt kicked by a really good team at Oklahoma State's, just running her. I was running an Iron Hammer team at the time, which is incredibly range-based, so I had like no way of getting to her. That's my fault. I kind of knew that, I should have known that Cleas were going to be there, and that was going to be a horrible matchup for my team. But you live and you learn. Anyway, this Clea is great. Even after her errata, she's still very good. So that's going to do it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. As always, let me know all of your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed it, make sure you smash that like button because it does help me out a lot. And don't forget to click that subscribe button over there so you don't miss any future videos. But if you guys would like to help support the channel even more, of course, links are in the description for our Patreon, as well as the membership join button down there for the YouTube memberships. So make sure to check that out. For as little as $1 a month, you get entered into our monthly giveaways, as well as some other cool prizes on there. And I'm adding some more stuff to that, trying to improve it as well. So make sure to check that out soon if it interests you. But that's going to do it for this video. Thanks again so much for watching, you guys. And until next time, this has been Heroclix Headquarters, signing off.